In this section, 2.4, we look at the average rate of change of a function. But before we get to that, we should probably look at this symbol here. It's the Greek letter delta, which represents in this section at least, it represents the change in a variable. So for example, if y changes from 3 to 7, that means that y is changing by 4. You do the new y, which is 7, minus the old y, which was 3. 7 minus 3 gives you 4. And if x changed from 5 to 2, you'd have to do 2 minus 5. So the change in x would be a negative number, negative 3. Now, we can apply that to things like finding the average speed of some kind of object. For example, if your speed changes over time and you want to find out what your average speed was. Now here's an example down here which might seem a little bit confusing to start off with, but if you think about this, it might become a little bit clearer. If you travel at 100 kilometers per hour for 4 hours and 59 minutes, so you're doing most of your journey in 4 hours 59 minutes at 100 kilometers per hour, and then just in the last minute you slow down so that you're 20 kilometers per hour for the last minute, would your average speed be just an average of 120? So would you just do 100 plus 20 divided by 2? Well, it doesn't seem like that should be the case, because surely the 100 kilometers for such a long time, the 100 kilometers per hour for such a long time should be more important than just that last little bit, that last minute of your journey. So it's not going to be just 60 kilometers per hour. What we need to do, if you want to calculate the average speed that you've travelled at, is look at the total distance travelled divided by the total time it takes. Or a way of writing that is the change in your distance divided by the change in your time. The distance is measured from some other spot. Now just look at this S here. This S stands for distance or displacement if you're in physics. For some reason in physics, S stands for displacement or distance. So if you want an expression for the average speed, you look at the new displacement at the new time minus the old displacement at the old time divided by how long it's taken you, the new time minus the old time. Now the rate of change of something is how you can think of it as being how fast something changes, or it's just how something changes over time. We say that the rate of change of z with respect to time is the change in z divided by the change in t. And if you want to look at the change in y with respect to x, it's the change in y divided by the change in x. Now all these things you can relate back to this kind of idea that we had up here. It's just the change in the distance that you are from a certain point divided by the change in time, how much time has gone by. Okay, so here's a fairly straightforward example here. We've got example 1, a particle is moving just in a straight line. The distance it is away from a reference point, the origin, is given by s of t equals 3t squared plus 1. So if you want to find out the distance that this particle is from the origin at any time, for example, if you wanted to know where it was after 10 seconds, you would do 3 times 10 squared plus 1. Now if you want to know the average speed from this time to this time, right, between the end of the first second and the start and the end of the second second, we would just plug those values of 2 and 1 in here. We'd find out how far it was away from the origin after 2 seconds, how far it was away from the origin after 1 second, subtract those two things, and we have this formula here. So if we do that. S of 2, we put 2 into this equation here. So it's 3 times 2 squared plus 1. And you'll see that just here, 3 times 2 squared plus 1. And then we have to subtract what we get when we plug in t equals 1. Right? So when we put t equals 1 into this equation here, it's 3 times 1 squared plus 1. And then on the bottom, how many seconds have gone by? You just have to do 2 minus the 1. So on the bottom, we've got 2 minus 1, which is equal to 1. 1 second has gone by. So we simplify that a little bit. It's not too difficult. It's going to be 13 minus 4 divided by 1. So that gives you in the end, should give us 9. And then if we want the average speed from t equals 3 to t equals 5, it's exactly the same thing. Try that just now. Just give yourself a couple of minutes to try that. Stop the video and then play the video once you've tried it. Okay, so you've plugged in t equals 3 and t equals 5. The first step would be to write it like this. Second step, plug in 5 into the formula that we have way up here. So you're plugging in 5 and we should get this when we plug in 5 and we plug in 3. Simplify that, we'll get 76 minus 28 divided by 2 because there's 2 seconds gone by between t equals 3 and t equals 5. And finally, we get 24. Now, if you think about it a little bit, that average rate of change that we've just looked at, you can think of it as being the y-coordinate minus the y-coordinate of one point minus the y-coordinate of another point, divided by the x-coordinate of one point minus the x-coordinate of the other point. If you think about this, this is a little bit like in fact it's exactly like the slope of a line. It's like the slope of a line between this point and this point. So this could be the graph of displacement, distance, against time. And so this could be, this y value here would be the distance gone after b seconds. This is the distance gone after a seconds. You would do the distance travelled, which would be this length of this line here, divided by the total distance travelled, that is, divided by the total time that it's taken. So it's really just the same thing, change in y divided by change in x. It's the slope, the average slope between this point and this point. Okay, if you want the average rate of change of a function, we have to do exactly the same thing as we did in the previous example. So try this one now for yourselves. You should stop the video. Okay, in the first one, we put in 4 and we put in 3. Just plug those into the equation y equals x squared. We should get, as a result, 16 minus 9 all over 1, which should equal 7. And in part B, to get the average rate of change between 3 and 3.1, just do exactly the same thing. So take f of 3.1 minus f of 3 and divide by 3.1 minus 3. If you plug 3.1 in, you can do that on your calculators probably more easily. You get 9.61. Do that calculation, we should get 6.1 in the end. Then in example 3, it's a little bit more difficult because this time in part B, we have this very strange looking thing here. We're going from t equals capital T to t equals capital T plus h seconds. H usually, when you do calculus, h stands for some kind of very small amount. So it allows us to see that, the difference between this time and a time just after it. It could be like a millisecond, a millionth of a second, a billionth of a second later than this whatever this time here is. And it's what allows us in calculus to approximate the instantaneous rate of change, or the actual speed at that point, if you like. However, for the moment, we're just still sticking with average speed. So we've got to plug in part A, t equals 1 and t equals 3 into our equation. We'll get this. Plug in h equals 3 into this equation here. We should end up with something that looks like this. If you plug in 3 and you plug in 1, and what we should end up with is 30 meters per second is the average between the first second and t equals 1 and t equals 3. And then the second part is going to look a little bit strange when you first do it. You plug in t plus h as the first value, or rather the second value, and then you're going to do 50 times t plus h minus 5 times t plus h all squared. That's going to be on the top. A whole big long expression like this. Luckily it simplifies, and the nice thing about this type of thing, when you do calculus, you'll find that it always simplifies quite nicely, or almost always, because eventually the h's cancel out like this a little bit. So we get left with something that's a lot simpler than you might have imagined.